Good evening, everyone. I hope you've had a wonderful Friday afternoon. We're going to be looking at today's price action of the ES. Uh, we're going to go over a few things, go over a couple of my trades, and then kind of look at the bigger picture as to what happened this week. We kind of did what I said we were going to do yesterday in my video. I was kind of expecting us to open up inside the day's range and previous day's range, like yesterday's range, right? Trading this upper distribution. Remember that was uh, in this zone here, right? I was expecting us to trade in this zone, the upper distribution. Um, and we kind of did that, but we opened this morning with a small gap to the upside as we opened above previous day's range at 37.0775. And I said if we opened up above, we would go and get that daily high and then kind of get into that gap. Well, we did that in A period. So in A period, we opened up, we got that daily high, pushed up into this gap that we have on the daily, and then backed off, came back into the day's range, and then we did nothing but trade pretty much inside the upper distribution for most of the day. B period, we pushed down, C period, pushed down, D period, and E period. We pretty much just traded in this upper distribution. That's from where single print started at E's low yesterday and L's high from yesterday. So the upper distribution we pretty much traded all day. We dipped our toe into the single prints from yesterday. So in D period, this big sprint up yesterday where shorts were covering, we kind of backfilled into it a little bit. As you can see where my line is right here by the green. Um, Single print started there. We pulled into it and traded there pretty much in F, G, H, I, J, K, L, and M, right? So we've got into those single prints. So now that bit of price has been taken away, and now we leave single prints. They start now at 35.91.25. So they're smaller. They're still there. I said we weren't gonna. Didn't look like we were going to fill the first time around, right? Because it's a large set. Same thing with the upside. It was kind of a large set. Didn't expect to fill it and all one go. And then today we kind of did the same thing, more or less. Today's a double distribution day, going into a double distribution day. We trended down all day today with a large set of single prints and the highest accepted price in B period. So let me explain that real quick. Highest accepted price here in B period. So in B period opened up at 36.8850, right? We pushed up 36.8850. We pushed up to 36.89. So we got up by 2 ticks. We pushed up by 2 ticks and then we, boom, sprinted down. That's what you call a highest accepted price. Highest accepted price begins one auction and ends another, right? So we stopped auctioning up and we started auctioning down. So supply was pretty heavy here after it fell at yesterday's high and above. Let me go ahead and mark this high day real quick. And then we're going to label this highest accepted price, HAP, HAP, highest accepted price. So we had a highest accepted price here in B period. We pushed down. We created a set of single prints. As you can see, no other price was traded in this range in B period. B opened up, we pushed down, we broke A's low, we began one time framing down. Remember, that's when we take out a previous time frames higher or previous time frames low. So this is where single prints start now. Single prints start 10, 14th. And then we push down. And single prints, it was actually a really large set of single prints. I mean, B period was absolute monster. 61 points. I pushed straight down, right? And then in C period, we kind of took back some of those single prints. And then in D period, we took back even more of those single prints. And D period is where those single prints will now fill at D period's high of 36.56.75. So now single prints fill here. Oop. So now single prints fill there. So now we have the high day in A period. We broke previous day's high, came back into the range, highest accepted price, then we create a set of single prints. And then C period broke the IB low, so the initial balance low. So sellers began the day with the opening. They had the open, highest accepted price. They create a set of single prints, and then sellers broke the IB low, initial balance low, right? D period and C period we didn't get much extension from that low. D period we didn't even take out C's low, so that's why we rotated back up, found more supply, more sellers in this set of single prints, and then D rolled back over, and then E finally opened up, and we created another set of single prints at the time. We attempted to go triple distribution at that point, uh, but F period filled it, and then we rolled back over and created a new low in the day. G period, we didn't do anything. We pretty much chopped in GF or in GHJ until GIHIJ element of Q, ABCs. They're difficult, right? But we pretty much traded F range from G, H, J, I, and J periods. J created a new low in the day, dipping further into the uh, single prints below, right? And then we pop back up, K period, extended a little bit further, L period, extended a little bit further, M period, extended a little bit further. But we didn't do a whole lot. Pretty much every push up was a short on the day. Every push up was an opportunity for a short. Um, I took a few trades today, not too many. I took a few and got hurt on a few and then made really well on a few. Um, I didn't start trading until F period. Because I didn't get home until that point. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all that happened today. As far as it wasn't too exciting because once we got that big gap, intraday gap, single prints in B period, we kind of just grinded down. And like I said, every push up was a short. So when G pushed up, you could have taken a short against F's high. When H pushed up, you could have taken a short against G's high, and it pushed down. Same thing with I period. I period pushed up, could have taken a short against H's high, and that's where your stop would have been. And you could have made money on the push down. J period could have taken a short against I and H period's highs, and that would have been one heck of a short. At the time, I was thinking about taking a short there because things were just kind of lining up the way I wanted it, but I was kind of looking for a little bit of a different trade setup in that time frame, and I'll explain that here in a minute. K period, uh, push down, nothing really to short it. L period, nothing to really short. We didn't really stop one time framing down until L period when we took out K's high. We one time frame down all day after D period, one time frame down, one time frame down, one time framing down until L period and M period. Larry and Mo, the three stooges here, Curly, Larry, and Mo. And we didn't do a whole lot. So as far as my trades go, I took a long in F period against a set of single prints below at the time, and against E periods low. We hadn't broken it at the time. Um, so And I took it after we filled the small set because, like I said, in E period, we attempted to have a set of single prints from C's low to where E opened. So C's low was 36.25, and E's low, or not E's low, but E where we opened up was 36.18. So there was a small set of single prints there, but F went and filled it, backed off a little bit, and that's where I got long. I got long at 36.22, and I placed my stop right below E's low in case we decided to roll over. But we found a bid and began to rotate up in a quick fashion. Right, we kind of started to sprint up, where I exited for a nice 8 and 3/4 gain at 30.75. So that's where I exited my trade. It was a really good trade. We pushed up, and I exited right before F's high at 30.75. 36, 30.75. I took a short later in G period. Uh, Initially, like right after G period opened up, because we opened or closed here in F period, we opened up. I took a short initially in G period to see if we could continue to one time frame it down. Um, and this is where I kind of started to get, I hate to say FOMO, fear of missing out, but I was trading like shit. I was not trading the way I should have, and I was already kind of mentally exhausted from what I had done prior in the day. Um, but I took a short in G period initially to continue to one time frame down. I was short at 14, 36.14, a 5 lot, and then I got stopped out on a push back up. At there was a point, one point where I could have taken a profit for like a 3 point gain on each of those contracts, but we pushed back up. I was kind of expecting more to get out of it. Instead, we pushed back up, and I got stopped out of my position at 36.18. And then right after I got stopped out, I was like, you know what? Maybe we get long to go and take out F's high because I was like, maybe they don't want to go any further. And we still had the single prints below us, right, providing a bid because shorts were trapped there. Um, so I was kind of expecting, all right, they didn't want to go push lower. Let's see if they take out F's high. And we break above the 144. 144, this is what I'm referring to. Let me get you guys here. Go to the 1 minute chart, zoom you in, and then the 144. This is what I'm referring to in the 144. This kind of white line, we stayed below it pretty much all day long. Stayed below it pretty much all day long. And I was kind of expecting at the time, maybe, just maybe we'd get a pop above it. So that's kind of what we were looking at there. Looking to get above that 144 area. So I took a long right after I took a pretty nasty loss on that, right? I hopped in along. What I should have done was just sit back and wait and see what, kind of information the market would give me. But instead, I decided to get long, um, expecting us to get the POC above, the point of control above at the time. So I entered along at 20, and then I got stopped out and pushed back down at 14, 36.14. So we pushed back down near E's low, and I was like, that's kind of my line in the sand. If we roll over, then I'll expect us to go and make a new low on the day, but that's not what happened. We pushed down, and then we quite literally bounced back up uh, to where if I would have just stayed in the trade or waited for the pullback, I would have been profitable on it. So after the first loss on the 5 lot short, I took another loss on a 3 lot long, which put me down pretty big, about 35 points on the day. So then I sat back and just kind of waited and to see what kind of setups came my way. And then finally, when G pushed up near F's high, I decided to get short a 5 lot at 27 and 25. Those were my fill prices. So I started getting filled at 27, and as it pushed down, I started to add at 25, 36, 27, and then 36, 25 against F's higher day. The one time framing down, we were still continuing, uh, and then against the 144, we had gotten up to that 144 simple moving average on the 1 minute that I was talking about. And then we flushed out back near the lows where began exiting my trade. I got out one of the contracts at 36.20, another at 36.1850, another at 36.1525, another at 36.15, and then the final one at 36.1275, which put me back up on the day pretty good, about 7 and 3/4. And then I kind of took a few other trades in the day. Uh, they were just kind of small scalps here and there, uh, but they weren't worth noting. But I ended up closing up the day about 20 points after being down 36 points, so that's always positive to come back on the day, um, which I'll take any day. I'll take that. Um, we end pretty much with today's low, set of single prints, highest accepted price, and then today's high. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these in real quick. That's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Yep. So no really wide pocket that's kind of worth noting. It's 8 wide, but I'm not going to carry it forward. I wouldn't doubt that we trade it at some point in the future, but it doesn't mean too much for me if it's not 9 or more. This is where single prints start. It's also our low of day, so I'm gonna label it low of day. Okay, so that's our low of day. So now our chart looks like this, and then we'll go over our daily chart. So high of day, highest accepted price, single prints, one time frame and down all day, lowest accepted price, below us, or not lowest, low day, and single prints where they start. And then we got that intraday gap where the single prints are from Thursday, and then nothing until the low day. So upside destinations, single prints start here. I got this labeled backwards because I'm dumb. Single prints start here, and then the single prints fill here. Then you don't have anything to the highest accepted price at 36.89, and then the high of day at 37.25.25. Above that, you get that low of day gap fill at 37.50.75, and then the 10 wide POC from that day. Downside, we don't have anything until today's low day, where the single print start 35.91.25, single print fill 35.68.25, yearly low 35.02. We're in a 5-day balance. Yesterday I was thinking about calling it just a 2-day with today's range, but I kind of noticed we got into Friday's range pretty good from a week ago. So I'm gonna call it a 5-day balance. We'll see that here on the chart, on the daily chart. 5-day balance. This high, this low. 5-day balance. That's what we're gonna call it. We rejected the 20 today. That came into play. 20 SMA on the daily. We rejected that. Let's look at our monthly. Now our monthly continues one time frame down 2 months in a row now, right? We took out that balance low in September, and we took out September's low this month. So now we look to either rotate back lower, or do we put the weekly into balance? So right now the daily's in balance. The next step for the bulls and buyers is to put the weekly in balance. And by that we need to, because right now the weekly is still one time framing down. Or yeah, the weekly is one time framing down because we were in a balance here uh, from September into October. We put the weekly into a balance and then we came out of that balance. To put the weekly back into a balance, we need buyers bulls next week to take out this week's high at 3070, 370, 26 for the S&P 500 for the SPY. So if we take out that high, then the weekly comes back into a balance, and then the next step from that point forward is to get the daily to come out of balance to the upside, to get the weekly to come out of balance to the upside, and then go and gun for our monthly high. And if we take out last month's high this month at 411.75, then the monthly comes back into a balance, right? And then from there, we'll look to see if the daily, the weekly can continue to one time frame up and then bring the monthly out of balance by taking out that balance high uh, or that high right there where we rolled over at 431.39, 431.69, excuse me. Sorry if this video is a little bit longer. Well, I'm just kind of getting in depth in the explanation. And then here's our daily. We're in a balance from October 7th high to October 13th low in this balance. So I expect us to kind of chop around in here next week until we take out this high. Then we'll go and attack that previous week's high. Or we'll put the weekly into balance and then we'll go and attack the monthly high. But I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. Um, Hopefully this video made sense, and if it didn't, please leave comments below to kind of help me better the video. Uh, Hopefully you're learning something. If not, then I will do my best to do better. Other than that, have a great weekend, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.